Hey there, I'm Matt from MDW GuitarWorks, and I just want to do a real quick introductory video here. As you can see, we're in the mobile office today. By that I mean my car. I don't live here, well, currently, knock on wood, but just wanted to tell you a little bit about MDW GuitarWorks. And that, when I use the word we, I generally mean me. I guess that's sort of the royal we. We are not well pleased. But sometimes I recruit help from my friends, but it's mostly a one-man shop. And what I do is guitar rescue, I guess you could say. I find guitars that are in bad shape, at yard sales and pawn shops and leaning up beside dumpsters, and fix them up so that they're playable and hopefully better than playable. They're, decent quality instruments. And then the magic happens. That's when I decide to apply my strange, weird visual artist sort of obsession to them and turn them into actual works of art that are not just playable and don't just sound good, they also look something special and hopefully are something that you or a loved one will treasure forever. And oh, hey there, guy. That's my neighbor, I guess. So a little about me. I'm Matt David Worsham. Yeah, three names like a serial killer or something. But that's me, Matt David Worsham. I'm a singer-songwriter and musician and visual artist, painter, sculptor, and basic weirdo about town. And one of my passions is fixing up guitars and other musical instruments, but mostly anything with strings. And I stick primarily to guitars and usually electric guitars, which started from childhood of not being able to afford really high-end musical gear and wanting to fix it up. Well, I'm a 12-year-old kid. I don't know how to fix guitars, but you could learn. And so, it started with, okay, well, the E string keeps falling off. Okay, well, let me figure out what's happening there. And it doesn't take much to figure out, oh, the little groove isn't quite deep enough and it won't hold the string in. So borrow Dad's file, and of course I make a mess of it and learn that, hey, you know what, they got special files for that. And so eventually, I save up my allowance and get a set of real guitar files and make that nut groove a little bit deeper. Now the E string doesn't fall out and I can actually play this thing. Cool. Alright, so, well, now it makes a buzz when I play it. Well, I had to dig in there and figure something out there. And for you kids out there, you don't remember the days before the internet. You had to go and ask some guy at the music store and hope he wasn't too stoned to just tell you whatever. And believe me, you got to do a little legwork when you were back in the day finding how to fix stuff. Nowadays, there's a lot more information, so I recommend that you avail yourself of that information, and I guess I include myself among it too. So you got a buzz in your guitar when you got it plugged into the amp. Well, lots of things could be happening, but more often it's going to be one or two things, and usually it's the one. It's usually something to do with it's not grounded right. So what's grounding? So you got to figure that out. Okay, well, back in the day I could go Radio Shack and ask the old dude with the hair growing out of his ears, and he'd tell me, yeah, well, that sounds like a grounding problem. And I figured, oh, by the way, I got to buy a soldering iron and some solder. And by the way, Mr. Radio Shack man, can you tell me how to use this thing? So, you learn things. And I don't consider myself to be a certified, bona fide luthier or guitar tech or even really a repairman, because everything that I've learned has been just basically shade tree, figuring it out as I go. Now, I've been figuring it out as I go for about 40 years now, so I know a few things, and I know enough not to try some kind of repair job that is over my head. Usually it's because like it needs equipment that I don't have, and I'm not going to try something with equipment that I don't have. Sometimes I've built things from scratch that I'm using the tools at hand, or I'll go borrow some tools, but I don't have a big old shop to work in. I've got just basically me and a pair of hands and occasionally a friend that can hold the end of something while I'm belt sanding it. But I think I can produce some pretty worthwhile results. Being that I'm in my mobile office here, I don't have anything to show you, but I'm going to do a series of videos with guitars that I've got laying around and other instruments. I've got some mandolins and basses and banjos and other stuff. That some of the jobs I do are basic as taking what's there, making sure it's okay, and painting something cool on it. So, simple as that. Other things, I can cut a chunk out of it, put some LEDs in there, paint it all freaky and weird, have some metal bits sticking out this way and that, actually turn it into something pretty weird and wild, and everything in between. And everything I show you on this channel is for sale, and I'll tell you a little bit about, and I'm not here necessarily to sell you anything. If you want to buy something, that's cool, but that's not the real gist of why I'm doing this. The main thing is just to show the cool stuff that I'm doing, because being a guitar rescue, my stuff is here, I'll play it and I'll love it, and if somebody else wants it and wants to give it a good home, that's great too. But I'm not all about that, which is probably why I'm broke. If I was a better salesman, I might actually, yeah. Okay, so what I do here is, like, I will take a guitar that is worth basically whatever, nothing, 50 bucks at a pawn shop, 75 bucks, and I'll put some work into it to make it into, let's say, okay, now it's worth it, 150 bucks. Okay, maybe it's a Fender Squire that isn't worth more than 100 and some odd change brand new. So I know there's a ceiling. I can only make this thing so good. I can make it better than what you get off the shelf, because typically those things aren't necessarily set up all that well. And so, I'll put a little time into making sure that it's above average for what it is. I can't change the type of wood it's made of. I can't change what the frets are made of, but I can check them out, make sure that the frets feel good, the intonation is right, everything's lined up right, the electronics all work right, so it's in effect better than what you would get just off the shelf. So okay, I got this guitar, didn't cost nothing, or 20 bucks at a yard sale, and now it's worth just a tick more than what it would be off the shelf brand new. Okay, well, make some progress there. Then we got the core of what you got. It's a $150 guitar now. Now I'll make the magic happen. We'll paint it, we'll cut it apart and put some weird lights and fun stuff. Might change the pickups. And what I usually do is keep the guitars built as is, and if they come with a certain kind of pickups, I keep those pickups in there. The fretwork, I'll clean it up, I'll even it out, make sure that everything is good. If there's wear on it, I'll try to improve that so it's evened out. I'm not going to sink a whole lot of time into restoring something if it can only be restored up to a certain point. I'll be totally honest with you there. What's the term? You can't polish a turd. So I'm not going to tell you something is something it's not. If it's a guitar that max is worth $150, that's going to be the core of it. But if I go and, let's say, paint a reproduction of Vincent van Gogh painting on it, okay, well, now we're getting into something different. Now, that's going to take me a certain amount of time and a certain amount of material. And honestly, how many people do you know can paint Vincent van Gogh on your guitar? Well, not many. I'm one of them, but I don't know many other people like me, which is probably a good thing in the scheme of things. So that's going to be a different amount that we're talking here. So let's say we had a $150 guitar that's a nice playing guitar, it's good quality, and it's got custom artwork on it that I painted with my own little hands and brain. And so depending on what you got going there, that could be another couple of $100. All right, so the $150 guitars now, closer to $350, which I think is pretty good. If I spend the entire weekend putting the paint job on there, yeah, well, that's fair. I got to pay the rent man too. And so, we can ship it to you. And domestic shipping in the continental U.S. for guitars averages around $150. You're not going to do much better than that. And, part of that too is the packing materials, and I'll pack them up real nice and get it to you all squeaky clean and good as new. But it's about $150. If you're local to the Tampa Bay area, I could drive out to your house and drop it off, or meet you at Wing House or something and drop it off. I don't go to Wing House that much, that's, yeah, whatever. But meet you where you want. I mean, could be the parking lot of the Costco or something. But so that'll save you a little shipping. But let's say our hypothetical Van Gogh parts caster. I haven't done any upgrades on the guitar. I just made sure it's very solid, very cleanable, or very cleaned up. Everything is solid. Painted Van Gogh on it, and I shipped it to your home in Portland, whichever Portland you want. There's more than one Portland, but the groovy West Coast one, let's say. And so, where were we? We were about $350 and $150 shipping. So we're looking at $500, which I'd say is still a very good deal for a one-of-a-kind instrument that you're gonna, I don't care if you hang it on the wall, but I would prefer that you play it, because if I was just gonna sell a wall hanger, I wouldn't go to the trouble of making it play nice and be solid. There's other stuff that can happen in a guitar rescue when we get to that point before we've shipped it off. Let's say this is a decent guitar and I like the way it plays and it sounds pretty good, but it's lacking something. And that's going to be the case with a lot of your rescue guitars. It has just cheapo pickups in it. The tuners are kind of iffy. We can upgrade that. That's real easy stuff. So let's say it sounds okay and it plays real nice. It feels good to play. Okay, well, we're in a good situation because you can swap out the pickups, and that's going to be the price of the pickups. Like, you want to get, like, you got a Strat and you got Seymour Duncan Pearly Gate pickups in there, whatever, bare knuckle pickups or Lawlers or whatever. Okay, well, you can spend a good chunk of change on, and if that's what you wanted to do, we can upgrade. And I highly recommend that, because, like, what's the point of having this fancy looking guitar with Van Gogh on the front of it, or whatever alien video game theme we got going, if it doesn't sound good? Okay, well, let's put some decent quality. Okay, let's get some middle of the road Seymour Duncans in there. Let's see, say we get a good deal on a set for $80. Okay, well, add $80 to the price. And if you're going to put decent pickups in there, let's put some better quality tuners on there. Okay, well, you can get pretty decent set of middle of the road tuners in the neighborhood of $50. Okay, so we got that. There's other stuff you can swap out on the guitar, but if you had good quality tuners and good quality pickups in there, you're 90% there with having a guitar that you can definitely gig with, and it's going to sound super. And every single guitar is going to be a little different. There might be fewer pickups in it. Some guitars just have one pickup. Some acoustic instruments I've got, I can put in tiny little, what they call a piezo transducer that costs all of $5, and wire it in there just straight to the jack, and we're out the door. That's not the greatest pickup out there, but it's sufficient that you can plug something in and get a sound out the amplifier, and that's something. So anyway, that's about all I had to say. I'd like to get some videos up there that where I'll use individual guitars and just show you what they're all about. And then I'd like to eventually get some videos up where I walk through the process that I put them through, like start to finish. I'll take you to the pawn shop with me, and we'll pick out a guitar and do whatever, belt sand the finish off it or whatever, and then walk through the process of making it something groovy. So that sounds like something that you're interested in doing. Follow us here. Don't know what gram you're on, but I'm on all of them, I think, unless they invented something while I was sleeping. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, I already said YouTube, Facebook, all of them, MDW GuitarWorks. And if you like what you see, make sure you hit whatever like option you got going and whatever gram you're in, and subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff, and I will see you later. Bye now.